Yeah. Oh god. There was a lot going on, and yeah, again, it looked like Pacomike versus Roro was going on longer than we anticipated, but they are finally done. They are finally out, and at the end of that, Roro was knocked out of the upper bracket 2-0, and now we have our upper semi-finals. And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Mexican Protoss player himself representing Team Super. It is Pacomike. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the Peruvian Protoss player himself. It's been a long time since we've seen him here on the channel. It is XionS. I have to just quickly update the Twitch chat and all that good stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the duct tape themselves. Of course, they were edited together by the lovely Vortex Lamb in the chat. He's not in the chat right now, but you know, one day he will be. And yeah, I love the duct tapes themselves. Like, he's very memey, and it's really cool the way that he was able to put them all together and then make them all match and all that stuff. And a lot of them have like their own themes as well. It's really well done, and I always appreciate the work that Vortex Lamb has put into them. But of course, now we must continue on with the show, continue with the tournament, and here we will determine who is the best Protoss player in the region in Copa Hyperion number 46. Who is it? So far, we have some pretty mirrored builds here. Both players going for their double gate expands, or you know, their 2-gate openers on the high ground on the wall, and we'll see what their first 2 units are going to be. Also, I should kind of bring it back a little bit, because Pacomike is opening up standard, XionS is as well, but his building placement is a little bit different. Personally, like, this is just what XionS does, and I'm not too fond of it. This does mean that if he goes up against a double adept opener, like what's coming his way now, it does mean that he's going to have a harder time walling off and a harder time dealing with that. He is making like his own SimCity back here instead, and maybe he plans to still wall off here, but like it's still, I don't know, it's inefficient, I feel. In case you do get proxied, like, it does mean that your first gateway units are a little bit less exposed. You know, they're further back, they're a little bit safer. So there's a bit of a give and take. There's pros and there are cons. Meanwhile, we do see Pacomike even go for a pylon block here on the low ground. XionS trying to expand but unable to. His stalkers are getting pulled out of position a little bit, bearing in mind that these 2 adepts have been scattered by the scatting probe of XionS, but Pacomike is avoiding the attack path of those stalkers. He's going across the map, is going to be sneaking into the main base. XionS did throw down a Twilight Council as a part of the wall. I appreciate that he's still trying to wall off. His tech is going to be exposed though, like it is going to get scattered by these adepts. There we go, the adepts are going to be able to shade in, but we have the full wall up here by XionS, so again, despite the opener, he's still able to protect his bases, I guess, but he does expose his tech. It has been revealed, and XionS is now across the map with 2 stalkers. Oh, and boys have to be fooled. The adepts of Pacomike are having a bit of a hard time here. 2 of them, or sorry, 1 of them already going down. The other not really finding too much damage whatsoever, but we do have an Oracle coming across the map. It was a Stargate follow-up here by Pacomike. And XionS, I don't think he was fully aware of that. He didn't scout the Stargate itself, but because he didn't scout anything, he at least has a shield battery. But the adept gets in! It's attacking the gas geyser! No! Oh, we do have a stasis trap going off, only getting one of these probes, and again, this adept is unfortunately target firing the wrong thing. Across the map, XionS is winning the stalker battle though. Already 2 stalkers of Pacomike going down. Oh, a pylon as well. And Pacomike may just fall here. Like, losing 2 stalkers is a mistake that you cannot afford. There's no shield battery on the high ground. Okay. Whew. We do have 1 shield battery on the high ground, and we do have an overcharge available as well if we need it. Ugh. So Pacomike is going to be trying to hold on there in the main base. Again, the Adept actually gets rid of all the shields on the gas geyser. Oh my god, I appreciate it. But again, the Adept just hasn't been doing the damage that it needs to. But that's an insane stasis trap. Oh my god, essentially every single worker caught here, so a lot of economic damage being done because of that. Pacomike, you know, he's still in this. He may not have the stalker count, but he has a little bit better economy. He has the probe count. Oof. Yeah, and with the reinforcements, it looks like he's going to have enough. He forces the recall. Pacomike does hold. He's going to be down a base. That's the downside to this. Like, Xion's, his mining has been interrupted a little bit more, and he does have less workers, but he can be a little bit more efficient with things here. Looking at the resource, looking at the income graph, it is deep in Pacomike's favor, again, because of the stasis trap, but as things settle down, like, it looks like Xion should be able to make up for that. Should. We'll see. Scrambling to find. Oh, what is happening in the chat right now? I'm shaking my head. Here we go. Pacomike back at home, going for a robo follow-up and a forge. So honestly, a little bit greedy. It's kind of weird. Usually you would see like a Twilight Council and a forge, or a forge and more gateways. Going for a robo is kind of interesting because clearly Pacomike intends to work on upgrades for his gateway units, but he doesn't have a Twilight Council, doesn't have Blink, he doesn't have anything like that. It's a little bit all over the place. Meanwhile, here we go. Pacomike even coming in from behind. Oh my god. No reaction. This is huge. Not just a bunch of workers. Every single stalker gets stasis. And that means there is no defense. Pacomike, something like this never happens. But Pacomike, he's getting out of control. Oh my god. Another stasis trap going off in the main base. Xion's, please, not like this. Stasis traps going off left and right. Pacomike, I feel like maybe respecting this army a little bit too much is going to back off. More damage could have been done. Oh, but at least Xion's is able to force him back. Pacomike just, again, playing a little bit scared. Doesn't want to overextend, lose too much. Oof. And finally, he's going to lose one of these oracles. But that was insane. Actually, three insanely valuable stasis traps going off, one after the other after the other. It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Meanwhile, across the map, there go our upgrades. Finally, we have a Twilight Council from the side of Pacomike. Obviously, it's pretty late, and he's not going to have Blink anytime soon. Xion's does, so he can outmaneuver and out-micro Pacomike, and now Pacomike is in a little bit of a scary moment right now. Overcharge is pop, but it's not really going to really help too much. We have an Immortal, but without an Overcharge, Xion's, if he wanted to, he could dive on it. And I feel like that's exactly what he's going to do. The Immortal is going to go down. We need another warp in here. It's a little bit late, to be honest. Pacomike does finally get 4 more Stalkers. We'll lose the Immortal, but at least he survives. At least he doesn't straight up die here. Xion's looking to reinforce, getting a third base behind this. This game is so scrappy, by the way. Like, it's there's been a lot going on. Pacomike even skipping Blink and going for charge instead. His charge is being researched. Pacomike's still like relatively even in the workers, but going to be a little bit behind when it comes to the third base timing. Third base only just now being thrown down. Meanwhile, Xion's coming in. Oh, a lot of workers going down as well. I mean, this isn't the biggest of deals, but this is a bit of an anti-timing. We do have Zealots, but they don't have charge. They do catch one Stalker, so they're finding some value. A surprising amount of value, to be honest. Especially because Xion's did have Blink, by the way. So some miscontrol there. Xion's losing 2-3 Stalkers. And we're ending up in a bit of an interesting position. Because even though Xion's had the faster Twilight Council, he can't really make use of it because he's not doubling down on Stalkers of his own. He's also going to charge. So Pacomike's army is looking pretty terrifying. Sure, he doesn't have Blink, but he makes up for that with Archons, with Immortals, with Chargelots as well. Chargelots kind of counter Stalkers, especially in low numbers. And now we're ending up in a really weird position because Xion's, he's going for his own push. Pacomike as well. Both armies are missing each other. We do have a War Prism to reinforce. But is anyone going to even recall, or are we just going to go for a straight up base trade? That's what I'm a little bit worried about here. Here we go. Pacomike gonna be pushing into the natural base. Xion sneaking into the main as well. Does anyone recall? Does anyone flinch? The answer is no. It's a little bit too late for that. Pacomike is gonna be powering on through again. Because of his immortals, he will be able to destroy buildings that much faster. And Xion's is gonna have a bit of a harder time doing so. We'll be able to kill workers though. Meanwhile, we do have a defensive Warpian back at home. We have Zealots. We have another immortal on the way. +2 as well from Pacomike. But the production is being depowered, and that's probably the most important thing here. We do have an overcharge, keeping a lot of these units alive, but the shield battery just got depowered. Oh no. Not like this, puppy, not like this. Ah! The army of Pacomike is a little bit clunky, and he's having a hard time getting into the mineral line, so Xion is trading a little bit more efficiently, and meanwhile, here we go, we have a recall. But even with the recall, I think Pacomike can still take this. Oh, but we have a Warping from behind, so we're going to see a full surround coming in here on Pacomike. The blink on forward comes in as well. And Xion should be able to have enough. Oh, not even. Oh my god. The power of Immortals, the power of +1 and Archons. It's just too good. Pacomike, he takes out the natural, he takes out the main, and he also defends his own. GG gets called, and Pacomike will take game number 1. GG. A bit of a quirky PvP between these two players, but I mean, that's kind of what we expect. Like, XionS has his own style of play. We saw that even in the building placement. Like, we just don't see that in PvP. Like, utilizing your tech to wall off the ramp instead of your initial 2 gateways. It's so weird, but like, there is logic behind it. I do think that that's just in case there's a proxy and he wants to make sure his production is safe and sound. Like, you know, there are reasons for this, and that isn't necessarily why Xion's, you know, lost that game. It was more because of the stasis wards, to be honest, and how insane Pacomike was with his Oracle control. Regardless, GG, well played. Pacomike will take the first game, and now we move on to game number 2. Oh, I do hope that we get to see all the maps, by the way, because I was talking about this earlier. I'm pretty sure this is the last broadcast where we get to see the current map pool. All our other tournaments have been using the new one, so it's cool to see 2,000 atmospheres. We've seen Glittering Ashes, we've seen Berlingrad. I would like to see Pride of Altaris for a last time. You know, I'd like to see Blackburn as well at some point today, because we're not going to see them again. It's a little bit bittersweet. Like, I wanna get these old maps the hell out of here, but at the same time, you know, we have to say our goodbyes. We have to say our goodbyes. Meanwhile, I'd like to point out to the people in the chat, I am indeed wearing pants. Thank you very much. You can't see them, but trust me, they're there. God, I was talking about this earlier. I've talked about this with a couple of people before, where there are some streamers that don't wear pants. I can't do that though, because even though you can't see it, okay, look, what if a catastrophic event happens? You know, there's an earthquake, or like something crashes into my house, and then my camera falls. You know, I'm a little bit paranoid. You know, I gotta wear pants. Okay, we all should wear pants sometimes. When streaming, when on camera is what I should say. When on Twitch. Aye. Oh yeah, shaking my head, chat, shaking my head. Light wears a kilt, not pants. Fun fact, if you are not in the land of Australia, it's winter at the moment, and it's actually pretty cold. Like, there's a reason why I'm wearing a jacket right now. Like, oh boy, this is pretty cold. Oh, speaking of the jacket, kind of related, it is a Carbot jacket. For those of you who are unaware, Carbot, they just released their Marines for sale last night, less than 24 hours ago. They announced Patches and Crackhead, their two signature Marines from their show, and the plushies are on sale. Plushies are on sale for 4 weeks, for a limited time only 4 weeks for you to get your boys. Of course, I'm gonna get mine as well. I have all the plushies that they've ever had. You know, I've got my Zergling here, I've got my Charge Lord, I've got my Baneling, I've got my Zergling Slippers, I've got the other Carbot Zergling as well. But yeah, you know, fun fact, this is the first time that there are going to be Terran themed plushies from Carbot. They've never done Terran before. They've never done like the SCV or the Marine or a tank or anything like that. So finally they're doing Marines, which is really cool. It's finally the Terrans get something, you know? So yeah, and even though I'm not Terran myself, like I want to support Carbot, I want to support StarCraft, so that's available now if you're interested. On their website. I say on their website. I think they partnered with like Wish or something. Sorry, Makeshift. That's it, Makeshift. I will post it in the chat. I'll post the tweet in the chat. If you're interested. If you're interested. Don't have to, you don't have to. Fun fact, the only things that I don't have are the Carbot plushies that were released only in Korea. You may not know this, but Carbot released a third version of their Zerglings, like a big like pillow version, looks really cute. And they also released a shuttle, not a carrier, a shuttle, the Brood War shuttle, as a hat, as a Carbot hat. And this was in 2016 when StarCraft Remastered came out, and it was during an event that they had in Korea. If you remember, Carbot went to Korea because they had like a big thing at a children's hospital where they had like their Carbot like arts all over the walls in a children's hospital, which was really cool. Like they did that for them, and while they were in Korea, they also were able to do stuff for the remastered launch event as well. Crank got all that stuff. I didn't. I'm not in Korea. So feels bad, man. Feels bad. But one day. Yeah. Meanwhile, we continue our series, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the Mexican Protoss player himself representing Team Super, currently leading this series 1-0. It is Pacomike. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad ALE, we have the Peruvian Protoss player himself representing Team TGCF. It is XionS. You don't want to be weighed down by pants when there's an emergency. No pants saves lives. True. I think that is objectively true. I think you will run faster without pants. I think aerodynamically, it is holding you back. Ay. I cannot argue against that. Meanwhile, once again, XionS going for his own opener here, going for his pylon next to his base. His production is hugging his Nexus, so again, relatively safe, but also a little bit awkward when it comes to walling off at your natural. Also, XionS doing the XionS special, goes for a proxy pylon in the main base. XionS does this almost every PvP. Pacomike should be aware of this, but Pacomike, it's been a while since he's played XionS, so does he remember? Does Pacomike remember to check his mate? Uh-oh. Especially because Pacomike is a little bit more concerned with things outside on the map. He's going for a proxy pylon of his own. We'll see if he goes for a proxy gateway. He is chronoing out Warp Gate right now. So it looks like, is this going to be for Stargate? It is not. 3 gates in total. Hyper gateway aggression coming out from Pacomike. Going to be staying on one base for a while. Oh, but I really worry for him because he still hasn't seen this pylon. His economy, his mineral line is going to be under threat here to only a handful of adepts. Pacomike, please. Oh boy. And this just may win XionS the game, by the way, because Pacomike wants to be aggressive. He wants to move out of the map, especially with this third gateway. He wants to be active. Oh, thankfully, he is throwing down a shield battery in his own main. He's throwing down a pylon, not going to be in range of the pylon of XionS. Oh my god, XionS with a misstep though. Immediately loses the Stalker. You cannot afford to do this in a mirror matchup. Like, Stalkers are so valuable here. And losing one is a little bit rough. Oh boy. Meanwhile, XionS now has warp gate. There we go. 2 adepts are being warped into the main base. Oh god. Not like this. And we have a warp in across the map, which means Pacomike, he cannot warp in back at home. He has to either recall or rely on his workers to defend. He does have a shield battery, but 2 adepts, 1-shot workers. And there we go. There we have it. Workers are going down one after the other. Pacomike is forced all in. He doesn't care about the natural. He wants to go all the way into the main. Oh, and he even avoids the shield battery. My god, focusing down the stalkers as best he can. He does fall back. Force field is going to be able to keep him at bay for the time being. We do have a second force field on the way as well. Probes are falling left and right. Questionable force field here is going to keep the stalkers locked in, but I think they want to be locked in. Meanwhile, across the map, even more workers going down. 9 probes falling for Pacomike, but 12 fall for XionS. In the end, though, this is worth it for XionS just because of his nexus, of his natural base. It's already up and running. Pacomike, his own, was a little bit of an afterthought. And now looking at the units tab, like Pacomike cannot push up. No, you can't push up the ramp. Don't do it, puppy. No. He already loses a stalker, and he's gonna lose much more than that as well. Ooh, Pacomike almost leads Zion up into that proxy. Pacomike, because he still has it, he's going to be able to warp in 3 units at a time, is going to get 2 adepts across the map, actually. Oh my god. But XionS knows he's ready for it. He fully walls off. Meanwhile, Pacomike can be losing a little bit more here. We need a force field on the ramp. We do kind of have a force field. Only a single stalker does get up. We do have enough energy for 1 more, so we're buying a lot of time here. There we go. So Pacomike trying to be as efficient as he can. He still has a shield battery to fall back to, I guess. Oof. He's actually holding on. The 2 adepts across the map. They're going to be able to get the pylon. Almost get the pylon. Oh, and this was a pretty close hold. Thankfully for Pacomike, XionS doesn't have a pylon to reinforce. I mean, technically he does have a pylon to reinforce. Technically. But he couldn't really do so with his main army. Oof, and GG gets called. XionS loses a little bit too much momentum, and Pacomike takes the series 2-0. Oh, that was so close. I was really worried after Pacomike lost his initial units, after he was losing probes in his main base as well. But it looks like he was just able to deal a little bit too much damage. And GG, Pacomike moves on to the upper bracket finals. I almost called it the upper winners finals, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Look, it's early in the day, okay? It's midday. I just woke up. Give me a break, Poppy. Give me a break.